Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today I've got a full tank review for you on the IMT. This is a Tier 8 Premium American Medium Tank. Yeah, like we need more Tier 8 American Premium Medium Tanks in the game, but it will feature Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider collaboration where you have an opportunity to be able to grind 30 stages in 11 days. That's a lot of World of Tanks, and that's excluding the regular Battle Pass, which you have to be trying to get through over the next couple of months. And today's my job to see if this thing's going to be worth the grind. So I'm going to be comparing the IMT to the American AAT60 and also the Swedish Lansen, which has been in the game for ages, but is still, in my opinion, one of the most fun premium tanks you can play. If, of course, you're an aggressive player and you like to get forwards. So the IMT has a 105 caliber gun, like all of these vehicles, but it actually hits harder at 360 compared to the 320 you have on the other tanks. However, to be able to gain this alpha advantage, it takes a huge hit to the damage per minute. 1,756 base. 2014 called and they want their DPM back for Tier 8. The Lansen smashes this and the AAT60 makes it look just horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. With literally 25% more damage per minute. To add to this, the IMT has unimpressive penetration at 210, which is one of the downsides to the Lansen. The Lansen has 242 on its gold APCR rounds, and the IMT has 246. So as you can see there, this is pretty much a Lansen with regards to its penetration characteristics, and that's not a good thing. And to be that far behind the Lansen with damage per minute, the firepower on the IMT is completely underwhelming. And if we compare it to the 230 pen that the AAT60 has on its standard rounds and the 285 it has on its gold rounds, man, the IMT looks absolutely trash. Add to that a shell velocity disadvantage compared to the AAT60, but enough ammunition to be able to take a variety of rounds on this tank. So now on to the gun handling of this vehicle. It has an aim time of 2 seconds, an accuracy of 0.37, and bad dispersion values when moving, but okay when turning the turret. Now, this is better than the Lansen, no doubt, but when we compare it to the AAT60, the AAT60 literally well, the IMT has 50% more dispersion when moving than the AAT60 does, and the AAT60 has that better accuracy as well. Man, that AAT60 looks like it's destroying the IMT so far. So now let's take a look at the mobility, but I must clarify that the IMT that you see me playing in the video today will have a worse engine power than the IMT that will be on release. The final engine power will be 900, so a 50 boost, which means this vehicle is going to have a power to weight ratio of 20 instead of 18.89, so please take that into consideration for the review today. So speed-wise, the IMT is it's fast forwards at 50. It's not great for a medium tank, but it's definitely better than the AAT60's atrocious 44, the same as the Lansen. 20 backwards is worse than the AAT60, and the same as the Lansen. The power to weight ratio will be much better than the AAT60 at its 20, but horrible compared to the Lansen's 28 power to weight ratio. That thing has the grunt to be able to get forwards. The ground resistances are the best in this comparison, which will further make this tank feel very different to the AAT60, which feels very sluggish in comparison, but not that much better than the Lansen, only on hard. So the Lansen really does feel like look at the soft upslope, or look at the soft along the flat. 36 kilometers an hour capped out on the IMT, while the Lansen's like, I don't give a monkeys about how bad the terrain is. I'm still chugging along at 50. So far we found out the IMT really struggles on firepower apart from the alpha damage, struggles on gun handling compared to the AAT60, and its mobility is worse than the Lansen and just a bit better than the AAT60. But when we take a look at the armor on this vehicle, is it great news? 101 at the front, 76 at the side, smashes the other two vehicles in this comparison, and 120 on the turret and 57 on the side. Wow, this thing looks like it's got armor as well as nice alpha damage. But interestingly enough, what wargaming tell you and what the reality is are often two very different things. Yeah, where's that really good armor? Where's that really good armor? And remember, this is only against 210 millimeters of pen. Yes, even this angled front hull is useless. Even when the vehicle's using its 10 degrees of gun depression, 180 millimeters of pen can still go through it. It also has horrible side armor, which means that artillery is going to completely dominate this thing, absolutely dominate it. And it gets overmatched by like 77 millimeter caliber guns all along the upper half of the hull. And the side is good, 76, sure, if people are ever going to shoot you there and not just shoot you in the upper hull or shoot you in the hull. The lower plate is a good bait. Definitely don't shoot this thing in the lower plate. Don't get baited into that. And when we take a look at this thing's turret armor, I mean, It's got some. It might pull off some ricochets on the turret, but it has these huge weak points on the side, which is very unusual for World of Tanks in 2025. All in all, this thing, it's horrible armor. It really is. It's disgusting. And this vehicle is no better than the AAT-60 with regards to its armor. And I would say the Lansen, even though the Lansen on paper looks like it should have way worse armor at 70, when we take a look at how effective angling on the hull can be, you can see that the Lansen has this lovely mid plate that will be able to get ricochets, even the side armor. And also when you turn the turret slightly towards the left and the right, you're pulling off ricochets there with the Lansen as well. So the Lansen, I'd say, actually has better armor all in all than the than the IMT, apart from with regards to the turret. So it's just horrible news for this tank. Add to that miserable hit point pool of 1,350. And this thing's durability is horrendous, absolutely horrendous. So how about the miscellaneous stats? Well, its camera rating is pretty good on the move, just a little bit worse than the Lansen and just a touch better than the AAT-60. And it does have 390 meters view range, which means that once you've got a very good crew, you'll be able to get away with vents without coated optics, unlike the Lansen. But unfortunately, the vehicle inherits a poor engine fire chance of 20, means that you better take a fire extinguisher or at least a fire extinguisher crew. Talking about crew skills, let's take a look to see what I would recommend on the AMT or the IMT. So this vehicle, you'll be happy with your M48 crew on this tank. So commander-wise, I'd recommend Brothers Repairs, Concealment, Recon, Emergency, and Coordination. For your gunner, I'd recommend Brothers Repairs, Concealment, Snapshot, Designated Target, and Armor or Deadeye will work very well on this tank. For your driver, Brothers Repairs, Concealment, Off-Road Driving will help for that soft terrain resistance. I like Engineer, and you can take Controlled Impact if you're feeling like a little bit of a mad lad, but remember this vehicle, it weighs 45 tons, so maybe take Smooth Ride instead if you're not big on the old ramming. For your loader, I'd recommend Brothers Repairs, Concealment, Intuition to switch between the horrible standard pen and that premium gold pen. Ammo tuning, I'm going to take Perfect Charge because the DPM on this tank is miserable, but be careful about getting ammo racks. You might want to drop one of those for safe stowage. For the radio operator skills, which are on your loader, situational awareness, firefighting, and jamming will do you very well on this tank. So for our equipment, I'm going to be going for turbo, vents, gun rammer. With a premium consumable and good crew skills, this will give me enough view range to not have to take coated optics, and also give me that little bit of an edge with regards to the vehicle's overall firepower. If you absolutely, utterly must have good gun handling, then drop one of these out for vert stabs, but I feel like the gun handling is okay enough on this tank. For my second build, I'm going to be maximizing this tank's scouting potential by taking a vision system and an exhaust. For the field mods, there's not really too much to say here. I'm going to take the module durability increase, the accuracy, and the camera rating. I'm going to be taking a scouting slot to be able to boost up that vision system. So let's go see how this rather disappointing tank is going to perform on the battlefield. So unfortunately, I didn't manage to get Lara Croft early, so you're going to have to wait for my stream this Thursday to see me play the IMT with Lara Croft in it to see whether the voice acting is special. But it's actually the original Lara Croft, not from the very first game, but from the series over the last 20 years. Considering Tomb Raider is like 30 years old, that's pretty terrifying. So, the IMT, what are we going to do here? Well, we're going to try and get up on the hill in a nice matchup and try and make use of our 10 degrees of gun depression. Relatively okay turret armor inside this matchup and try to avoid everything that we can with the hull. So the turbo on this tank, as long as we're not on soft, will allow us to do well. And remember that the IMT that you may choose to get will be faster than the IMT that you see me play in this video today, as you're going to be getting 50 extra horsepower, which will make it definitely perform a little bit better. So I'm looking for the side of this lever here, and yeah, gun handling, perfectly fine, 360 alpha, perfectly fine. But boy, is this a long reload, right? Very long reload. And the only good thing about this long reload is it should be long enough to actually hide in between your shots, especially if you don't take a gun rammer on this tank. But as you can see, I was a little bit greedy and I probably poked out a little bit faster than I should have. Nevertheless, because they don't seem to be rushing any heavy tanks up that slope, and because my camera rating, it's not horrendous on this vehicle, I should be able to just slip my way up onto the hill and try and help out this charioteer, who has a Blesk above him with a Saladin. So I'm going to switch out to an HE shell here with my intuition skill. I've got 53 millimeters of pen, so that should allow me to find a rock. That's an unusual one. You can see that I just discovered that. With this new cliff map and this new position, I couldn't see that little rock. Wasn't very clear with the cliff face behind it. Nevertheless, this Blesk seems to want to just feed me. And they lose an automatic fire extinguisher as well, so minus 10,000 credits for that poor guy. Way to lose credits at tier 8 there, buddy. But then again, somebody in my YouTube comments will probably say, but he probably got the fire extinguishers for free, which means that, of course, you can't sell them. You can't sell anything that you get for free, right, guys? It doesn't have any value, possibly. Nevertheless, the Blesk gets obliterated, just like he probably wanted it to my charioteer down below. Now I'm going to get forwards and use this vehicle's quite pokey 10 degrees of gun depression to be able to get forwards and go after the Saladin. And wow, this rock position, very awkward. Wargaming really didn't bother to model that rock, that's for sure. That's a very jaggedy rock for a cliff face here. But you know what? Probably some frost expansion activity there, creating the jaggedy rocks. That's what Wargaming's department's probably going to tell me. Fair play, I guess, as we shut down the Saladin from above and now turn our attention towards the M4Y. And should be able to go right through his upper plate there. Looks like that was a standard round, and now I'm going to start to load some gold. The gold will give me a definite pen advantage here against this M4Y, and the shell's going to whiff and go towards the upper hull, which really shows you this vehicle, it's not a sniper. And very disappointingly so, considering it has no hull armor. And the fact that the vehicle's got okay view range and good camera rating, you'd hope that it was a little bit of a sniper, but yeah, definitely not. So we're going to go again for this M4Y. He misses me, I miss him, and I just stop and I just go, this is not enjoyable. And it looks like the M6Y probably says the same thing as he just reverses off the cliff and manages to get himself completely obliterated there. There are many times when I was playing this tank where the vehicle just felt like it wasn't very enjoyable. Kind of jumping to the conclusion here before we've even managed to get through the gameplay. But as you will have seen with the statistics, as I drew up in the comparison, it's very hard to justify why anyone in their right mind would want to play this vehicle when they could play an AAT-60. Sure, you have a slight edge with regards to the vehicle's camera rating, and you have a slight edge with regards to the vehicle's mobility, which will be more pronounced with the hotfix that's coming, or the patch that's coming. 1.29.1 will be arriving tomorrow if you're watching this video as it's released. And yeah, we just had a 4-minute top tier game here. 4 minutes and 20 seconds, pretty much. 4 minutes and 30 seconds as we're trying to find the final artillery. And just, yeah, hoping that we can be able to etch up that game a little bit. Now, I'm going to be completely transparent. I cherry-picked the hell out of this game. You should have seen the amount of games that I had where I did 1,000 damage and my DPM just prevented me from feeling like anything even mattered, in all honesty. This game was cherry-picked, for sure. 5,100 combined. I really struggled to find myself having big games in this vehicle. Although I did win a lot. I was getting a wonderful 70 to 80% win ratio in this vehicle. But I don't think that was because of the tank. I think it's just because of the run of teams that I had in the 20 or so games that I played. So the real struggle you will have if you decide to get the IMT will be how do you play it in your less nice matchups against your tier 9 and your tier 10 tanks? Because the tank just doesn't do well. So what I like to do is try and scout. Take a vision system, take an exhaust, try and get forwards, and try to police the ridgeline and try and help your team out that way. Because the vehicle's camera rating can get up to about 36, 38, depending on the quality of the exhaust that you take. And if you do that, you're a very proficient scout tank. And with the vision system, you're going to be negating some of the bushes. And with your 10 degrees of gun depression, yeah, you can do some real good work with this vehicle. And so I think that's going to be one of the keys. I think a lot of people who get this tank, who try to play it as its a pure damage dealer, are going to have a very bad time, a real bad time. And if any of you still want to get this tank, maybe because you just absolutely love Lara Croft and Tomb Raider, and you know that you want to get Lara Croft, and if you get Lara Croft, then you might as well pony up the 2,500 gold that it will take to be able to get this. If, of course, you grind through the battle pass naturally. Otherwise, you're going to have to pony up the 2.5 gold to have the privilege of paying 250 gold per stage to be able to skip. So 7,500 gold if you don't want to actually play the game to be able to get Lara Croft, plus the 2,500. So 10,000 gold to get this tank and Lara Croft without actually having to play. Expensive, right? Is this tank worth 10,000 gold? No, this tank is totally not worth 10,000 gold. I had probably some of the least fun, least enjoyable games that I've had in a long time playing World of Tanks in a premium vehicle, playing this tank. It literally feels as if it's a tank from 2014. it would be okay. No, it'd be good in 2014. I think it'd be good in 2014. If you looked at it from 2014, it'd be good. It'd be like a Pershing, basically, a slightly better Pershing. But again, just like with the TS6, Wargaming have got themselves into a bit of a pickle where it's not good enough to have a vehicle which is good for 2014 because it's 2025. And there are good tanks out there. A Borask smashes this thing with regards to 360 Alpha, which it can deliver twice in 2 seconds. It has better camo. It has all of these different aspects that just absolutely destroys this tank. It just makes it look futile. The only advantage this thing will have is a little bit of gun depression advantage over the Borask. Well, a significant gun depression advantage over the Borask. And a bit of turret armor. But as you can see here, I see that my team is winning the game, so I've just decided to lurch forwards and try to sneak out as much as I possibly can. And this is what you have to do in this vehicle, in my opinion. Just get forwards, try and get some spotting done, try and play that support role. And I might have mistimed my attack just a touch because it looks like all of my team out here took far too long to push through a couple of tanks. Maybe I could have held back a little bit, but we managed to get ourselves 5,300 combined in just over 3 minutes in a bad matchup on a reasonable map now for a vehicle that wants to play sneaky. And I really do strongly recommend trying out either vents or coated optics with a vision system and exhaust on this vehicle. I think it'll be a saving grace, as pretty much the only times that I really felt like I enjoyed playing the IMT. Actually, you know what? Enjoy is a pretty strong word. I don't think the word I'm looking for is enjoy. I think the word I'm looking for was effective, I guess. Was the only time that I was effective in this tank was when I was taking the vision system exhaust. Although, you know what? Wasting half your hit points at the start of the battle to try and knock down some trees, that's not exactly the ideal scenario, is it? The vision system exhaust on this tank allows this vehicle to actually feel useful, because it doesn't have the hull armor, it doesn't have the DPM to be an oppressive tank. It can be impressive on a ridgeline, for sure, with the 360 Alpha, but yeah, the positions that I found myself gravitating towards on this vehicle were try and find a bushy area which has a ridgeline that you can fall back behind if you get cheeky, like you're going to see me getting here, hopefully shooting at this Progetto to be able to help out this T-54. Fortunately, we actually miss. And the TS-54 gets shut down right at the start of this battle. And this reload, I know I'm not using a gun rammer here, but oh my lord, I feel like I'm a spectator. I don't want to play a spectator sport here. I want to be an active gamer. Get forward, get stuck in, and go after the enemy team. That's what I want to do. And the amount of waiting in this vehicle. You know what? The only thing that could be considered okay with this vehicle is that 360 Alpha does mean that because you have the bad damage per minute, at least you're trading up a little bit for every time you have to fall back behind a ridgeline, which is, it feels like forever here as the GST term manages to remove pretty much most of my hit points, and I'm now down to a one-shot. But the 360 Alpha is a bit of a saving grace, and one of the reasons why the vision system exhaust is so good as well is it actually means that your reload still stays at around about the 10-second mark, the 10 or 11-second mark. Whereas when you use a gun rammer, your reload goes down into the 9-second mark. And so what that means is that if you're a little bit greedy and you don't wait for at least a couple seconds after you finish reloading with a gun rammer, when you go back up into the bush, you're most likely still spotted and you're going to get shut down, right? Whereas without the gun rammer, your reload is long enough that you're not wasting extra time just for nothing. And then waiting those couple of seconds to be able to go up while you're unspotted and be able to keep going. So the gun rammer, I do feel, apart from in those all-in engagements, which this tank should never really find itself in, does feel a little bit wasted. Now, of course, when we were playing on a map like Cliff a couple of games ago, the gun rammer was lovely there. It allowed me to harass the Blesk, to be able to get some damage in against that Saladin, and even to be able to go after the heavy tank that we also caught out as well at M4Y. So in that situation, gun rammer, irreplaceable. So definitely diversify your builds on this tank. Definitely diversify your builds on this tank. And I think the vision system exhaust is the one that I'm going to be using on like 70 or 80% of the maps. Bit of a misplay there as I went forwards. I might end up getting caught by the TVP or the XVM there. So, talk about getting caught by the TVP, getting blind fired a little bit there, good stuff. And now I'm down to 17 hit points. with a horrible game. 1,000 combined? Good gosh. We're down by 3 tanks? 5,000 hit point disparity? Oh, man. If we're going to come back into this one, we're going to have to put our full focus on. So while I'm fully focusing at the time when I was playing this game, let me fully focus on coming to an overall conclusion for the IMT for you. This is a bad tank. It is. The thing is that it's comparable to a Lansen, which I think the Lansen has a warm place in my heart. But the Lansen's been in the game for like 5 years or so, right? The Swedes came in 2016. I swear the Lansen probably came in about 2017 or 2018, which, oh my gosh, QuickyBabs is like 7 years ago. So the Lansen, I like it, but this tank is only just as good, probably worse than the Lansen, and it's way less enjoyable. The Lansen is so much more fun with that better hull armor, with the much better damage per minute that actually feels like I'm getting involved in the battle and will justify taking a gun rammer on the tank. Sure, it has lower alpha damage, and the Lansen having the better camera rating as well, although just a touch. Man, give me the Lansen any day over this vehicle. And like, here's the thing. Do you have anyone really going around shouting to the rooftops, yeah, Lansen, great tank, you should spend 10,000 gold on getting a Lansen in World of Tanks? No, look, it's not a bad tank if you end up having one on your account, or you manage to get one on some cracking deal, or you get it inside a loot box or something as a condolence prize when you're actually purchasing other things. Yeah, I wouldn't say no to a Lansen within that regard. But the issue is that this is 2025. No one wants to spend 10,000 gold on a Lansen. And also, the elephant in the room is that the AAT-60, which is the same nation as this vehicle, same type and tier as this vehicle, absolutely smashes this tank. It has way better standard pen, way better gold pen, it has a way better armor layout, and it has much better accuracy, incredible damage per minute compared to this vehicle. Why would you ever get the IMT if you had the opportunity to have the AAT-60? That is the big question. And hold on, I just thought to myself, did Wargaming just sell the AAT-60, or at least the style for the AAT-60 like a couple weeks ago? They must do that. They must plan on selling vehicles and then dumping out the new one within the tree. Well, not within the tree, but within the type, right? Because if you bought an AAT-60, you'd probably never buy another American premium, right? But now, fear of missing out, must get Lara Croft, must be able to get this, must go grind 30 Battle Pass stages, or go get the 40 for Duke Nukem, or most likely what people are going to do is have to dump a load of gold to be able to get 2 vehicles, which frankly you shouldn't buy anyway, because they're so lackluster and there are better tanks in the game that are more fun. More fun, ladies and gents. The Lansen is more fun. The AAT-60 is more fun. That was a frustrating miss there. Could be game losing, but luckily our team shut him down as we come back into this game with great fashion. But they're more fun. This tank is awful. The really sad thing about this tank as well is it's not like that bad. It's not like a meme in itself. You can still play it. It has got some turret armor. It's got 10 degrees of gun depression, 360 alpha, and some camera rating for when you want to play sneaky on a map like this. But the thing is that that's almost more insulting to the tank because it's just so dull, and it's basically got 2 other competitors, one of which is already an American medium, which are just better than it, either better statistically or better with regards to the fun that you can have in the vehicles. And so don't get the IMT, don't sweat inside the Battle Pass, don't purchase this thing and be able to go and get go and spend all of the gold on it. Really, that would be my recommendation. But at the end of the day, it's going to be up to you to decide how you want to spend your money, right? And a lot of you might be like, oh, Lara Croft, I've got great memories of Lara Croft. And what I would recommend to do is tune into my stream on Thursday and wait to see what the voice acting is like. Wait to see whether Lara gives you those chills. Wait to see whether, you know, she's going to be the perfect commander for that dream tank that you've always wanted to have Lara Croft in. And then you've got a question to yourself that is Lara Croft worth either grinding 30 stages Or, most likely, is Lara Croft going to be worth picking up an IMT for 2,500 gold, excuse me, and then being able to skip as many stages as you're unable to grind in those 30 days. So, not 30 days, sorry, there's 30 stages in those 11 days, which is a lot of playing. And stay tuned, as I plan to release a YouTube video tomorrow to give all of you the conclusion as to how much time and tips and tricks that you can, if you absolutely, utterly want to try and get through the Battle Pass as quickly as possible. So, this TVP who's been blind firing me all game is going to, unfortunately, catch us with a heat round there, but he's going to lose. This was 5 kills and 4,600 combined when things were looking really grim and really bleak earlier, when we were only up to 1,000. So with those, we made those last 17 hit points really shine inside this game. So all in all, the final word of the IMT. This tank is not worth it. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. It's not novel. It adds nothing to the game. It's a complete waste of pixels and space on your hard drive. But you make your own decision as to how you feel towards Lara Croft, about whether you want to finish the Battle Pass to be able to get hopefully what is going to be some awesome voice acting from the original character. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was my full review for the IMT. Really hope this was useful for you. If it was, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know in the comments down below what you think about the IMT. Do you think it looks like a really good tank? Just think it looks right up your alley? Or do you think it looks like a miserable waste of pixels that is nothing better than what we already have in the game? And more importantly, tanks don't have to be better. Let me clarify that. But they have to have some kind of novelty or some kind of fun behind them. And I don't get anything from this IMT. And final word, why was this tank not British? You know, maybe but Lara Croft, as far as I can tell, is not American. Why do we have 2 American tanks going in the same battle pass? I understand that we've had like a Vikings battle pass where the tank was Italian, but like just to make this vehicle American, it feels like Wargaming are just taking out things that they have in their under their sleeve, so to say, or up their sleeve, and just releasing them for these kind of collaborations really than trying to be imaginative and actually make them funky. Anyway, that's it. As always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.